Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome.
Hello, hello, everybody.
Yeah, so we are today again on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And if you would be so kind and put in the comments that you can hear us and see us before we will start. I see
And
some
I,
of you already. So,
yeah, and I got a little bit in trouble with our loyal fans today because they said, but you didn't post about it on your LinkedIn. And so I have to apologize to everybody. I didn't get a chance to set the reminder for you all, but I'm glad
and,
that.
uh, and it was a little bit shaky because I've got a long flight yesterday. And because of well, a couple of days ago, there was a snowfall everywhere, and we didn't know exactly where I would land. So I posted, yesterday night, basically.
But
So
you all found us. So thanks
yeah,
for coming along.
I think that there are quite, few people who confirm. So that's great.
Yeah. And I think
Okay. Mm.
probably people saw the topic and were going, oh, we got to talk about this because mental strength is all the rage, right? There are books, 13 things mentally strong people don't do. How do I build my resilience? How do I build my mental strength? This is what people think they want. They think mental strength is going to make me invincible. It's going to make me not get hurt. It's going to make me not have any roadblocks. I'm just going to get everything I want. It's all on the other side of mental strength. I wish, if only we said, hey, there's this one thing and you can have everything else on the other side. But the reality is, most people maybe are abusing their mental strength. I'm going to say it. They're using it in the wrong ways, or they're overusing it, or they're using it in situations where it's not the right tool. So tonight we're going to talk about actually how to use mental strength properly. What is true mental strength? Not the thing where you think, I'm going to tough this out, but really being able to be truly resilient, come out, down, through the tough stuff, and back up naturally stronger than where you started. So I hope you're in the right place. I hope that sounds interesting for you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember having a boss like probably 35 years ago, and he was always saying, don't be wimpy, which means like, don't be, you need to be tough, right? But it depends, it depends how, mental toughness and mental strength you define, because you should not be mentally tough in the way that you would threaten the other people. Obviously, that's not because interesting enough, even though Djokovic lost, at Australian Open in semifinal, bad for him, but he's basically saying that he's playing the best matches when all of the strengths are coming from him, right? And he's like he's inside of him, and I think that this is it, really. So we will discuss, how we can develop mental strength through emotional intelligence. Okay, maybe if we can kick it off and say a few words about emotions, how emotions are created, because we were educated in the past that emotions are somehow captured in our brain. We have a center of the fear, center of the happiness, whatever. And it's far from true, because there are a couple of smart people, among them Lisa Feldman, and she basically figured out in the research that emotions are created. It really depends on our environment, and basically our perception of that environment, what's going on, right? And emotions, they have to do also with the words we are using, because words for us means some pictures, because we think in pictures, and those words and those thoughts are creating emotions. Emotion, in fact, is the bridge between your mind and your body, right? It's a whenever your thought is touching your body, that's emotion. It can be positive, it can be neutral, it can be negative. So emotions are created. It depends on our perceptions. It depends also on the programs we've got through our childhood, right? Because some people are not afraid of some situations, some people are threatened absolutely by those situations.
Can I add in here, Jan, if it's okay, for some
Yeah.
people to just understand the difference? When you ask an Olympian, how are you feeling? Are you nervous to compete? Oh, you know, in America, we're going to have the Super Bowl soon. Are you nervous? And they say, no, I'm not nervous. I'm excited. Because the body, the heart might be, for, you know, pumping fast, the fingers might be going strong, but your mind can interpret, is this scary? Is this hard? Or is this exciting? Is this good? So you create a little bit, or you interpret your emotions.
Exactly. And I will, draw something for you. Okay. It has to do with, emotions and with our optimal performance. I just discussed last weekend because I coach her, his, daughter she's one of the best golfers in up to 13 years old. Dominic Herbati was a tennis player. He was, top 12 player in the world, and he got a positive score with all three, like Nadal, Djokovic, and Federer, right? And we basically talk about this, right? If you take your performance here and here adrenaline, okay, if you are here in that territory, you are basically bored and you will not get the best performance. You need to get optimal level. As you said, you need to be positively excited. So what this positive excitement means, I'm a little bit, nervous, but I'm looking forward to, fight or to compete or whatever, and this is it. And it's a very fine, peak because, behind it, there is a stress already where the performance goes down again. And this is where the mastery is sitting, where, Djokovic is playing, match ball the same way he's playing the ball one, or whatever, right? My friend Jan Mühlfeit, the Czech audience, you would know him. He's one of the best cardiologists in the world. He's like 75 years old. He's having the same, level of the performance, whether it's a tough, surgery and there is some complication, or it's easier, right? The same level of the performance because he's able to be here. It's sometimes called flow, this peak. So this is it. So it depends how your, emotions you will use, in your particular, way where you perform. The truth is, emotions are so important. I can tell you, I was chairing some boards, so I must, say those were not for-profit boards because I was not allowed to, when I was in Microsoft, to sit for profit boards for obvious reasons, because that would be conflict of interest. So I was chairing some non-profit boards and I was member of some boards, but then I was also chairing some for-profit boards. And I can tell you, decisions in the board, people think boards are really smart people with the gray hairs, no hairs, whatever. Anyway, but I can tell you, I would say 60 to 70% of those decisions are based on emotions. Even that, okay. Now, emotions are so important, but you hear nothing about emotions in the schools, right? That's what Daniel Goleman is saying, that, emotional intelligence should be taught in the basic schools, and that's not the case. We think, that people are absolutely rational, human beings. Economists who are advising to the political leadership, they think all economical models are based on the human rationality, which is a bullshit. We are
totally
not.
off.
We are emotional beings. We are rational beings sometimes, but we are emotional beings. Emotions are playing, huge role. And if you are a boss, or if you are a member of some, team, and you want to inspire other people, you need to understand their emotions. You need to understand what is like fire, behind it. What is attractive for them, how you can inspire them. So that's why I think the team is really very important.
Exactly. And the thing is, when we do learn about emotions, since we don't really learn about them at school, we don't learn a vocabulary. By the way, if you pick up the average person on the street and you say, name all the emotions you can, it's 7 or under. They know I feel good, I feel bad. Maybe I feel angry, I feel sad. More than 7, most people don't know. But what we do learn about emotions is avoid them. Big girls don't cry, man up, don't be a wimp, suck it up. We learn, quote, how to deal with emotions, which is to avoid them. Don't overreact. Don't be over emotional. Don't let your emotions take over. So the only thing we actually learn is these are not acceptable. Stuff them down. The reality is your emotions are very important data points that your body's trying to tell you something. And if we're only using our minds and we're missing out on using half the data from the instincts of our body, then we're not making very good decisions. When we think we're being rational, anyway, our emotions get in the way. So it's much better to have transparency. What are the emotions? What might I be feeling? What might be coming my way? Because then you can shift them. You can reinterpret them. You can work with your emotions. That's actually fundamentally where you're going to see a huge shift over time in things like charisma, not feeling scared to speak in public, dealing with conflict, taking feedback. Anybody love feedback? No, because you're triggered. You have an emotional response to it.
Because you are afraid of the negative feedback. It's about football. We have other people's opinion, right? Everybody, oh, it's all about feedback. But we are afraid of the feedback. Let's face it, right?
Yes.
Unless we will say, okay, what was going well, what was not going well, and maybe what I can change for the future. So we have a really, different parts of the feedback. If it's all, because a lot of people think feedback is all negative. If you fucked up somewhere, that's the feedback, right? So
yes, but here's the thing. So most people all their lives have been taught, get rid of emotions. Emotions are bad. They're not appropriate, especially certain cultures, whatever, like women aren't supposed to be overly angry, right? So there's lots of things we're not supposed to do with emotions. So we have learned, do not listen to emotions, ignore them, avoid them, control them. This is what most people think mental strength is: control. Don't have emotions.
Yeah.
Just the opposite. We want to work with them. Of course, we don't want to let them take over. This is the biggest fear that people have, because all they know about emotions is sometimes I explode when I can't control them. Or they think of the people who are always sad or crying, or they're the victim of things, and they see emotions play out and they say, nah, that person's too emotional. So I'd rather go on the no emotion side. But we forget there's absolutely a middle ground. We don't have to let emotions run the show for us. Emotions don't have to dictate our behavior. But we also shouldn't be running from them, because guess what? That means they're still running our behavior. Except we want instead to be curious. Hey, I'm noticing that I'm having the feeling of anger. You see what I did there? Not I'm angry. I don't over-identify with the anger. I'm not anger. I'm having the feeling of anger, or I'm thinking that I'm feeling anger. The more distance you can put, the more curiosity you can have. Once you can look at that emotion, you have the space to choose. Once you have choice, guess what? Then you haven't shoved the emotion down. I'm strong, I'm tough, I can handle this. That's fine in the moment. You have a crisis going on. You don't want people freaking out. Stay focused. But afterwards, you need to deal with it. You need to release it. When people have mental strength, I'm resilient, I can handle anything, what actually happens is they're holding it all in. The stress stays stuck in your body, very stuck. I'm fine, everything's fine, until you're not fine anymore. And this is when burnout happens. And, potentially, Jan, that's, partially what contributed to your case when you went, I'm fine, everything's fine, I don't need to listen, I can handle this, I'm tough, I'm strong, I should be able to handle this. Why, other people can handle it, why can't I? I can. If you don't listen, it comes out. Either you explode and you yell at people, or it comes out physically in your body. Illness, disease, burnout.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's like, it's getting, more and more cortisol is getting to your, body. If emotions not expressed, and then it's exploding in the different ways, right? It can be, like in my case, it was deep depression. In some case, you like getting crazy in a different way. So emotionally intelligent, let's define what's some of the components. Okay, Number one is understand who I am. So it's a lot about self-awareness. Who I am, who I'm not, where can we be, complementary, right? If I have strategic skills, I don't have maybe analytical skills, so I can have somebody with analytical skills. So really understanding who you are, because unless you understand who you are, you cannot understand other people. This is it. And that's the problem today with the leadership in the politics, in economy, that those leaders are taught, all about P&L, balance sheet, marketing, sales, whatever, but they are not taught about themselves, how to understand who I am. I can tell you, I'm not kidding. I'm teaching my course, Unlocking Human Potential on INSEAD. INSEAD usually is with Harvard MBA number one in the world, according to the Financial Times, right? This is kind of the study or measurement they do. Okay, and those students, I have always like at least 20 students coming like Sunday evening, because then I'm coaching on Monday, whatever, doing some other speeches. But Sunday evening, I'm teaching this special course, and they are saying that it's like semester at INSEAD, this course, the 3 hours, right? Because they understand much more who they are, and I think you can. I mean, we are teaching small kids from 7 years old. So self-awareness, number one. Number two, self-regulation. As what Lisa was talking about, is really how you regulate your emotions. But you need to understand your emotions, right? Let me now do like 1 minute spiel about Buddha. I'm not Buddhist, but Buddhism is a religion. I don't want to be religious here, but Buddha was, in my view, psychologist. Okay, then
Yes.
From that psychology, it became, religion. But anyway, what Buddha was saying, number one, you need to manage your mind. But, you will manage your mind if you will observe your mind, if you will really understand what's going on. Because only if you can observe your mind, you can understand your mind. And only then you can be in the present moment. Why present moment in our life is so important, whether we are like artists or some tennis player or whoever, manager, because only present moment is reflecting reality. If you are with your mind in the past or in the future, you are not reflecting reality, and that's where you are, making a lot of mistakes. If you are reflecting reality, you see that in reality, everything is changing. And if everything is changing, you are not attached to the past, because people suffer, because they are attached to the past, what happened. And I know it's very hard. Everybody got some, now there's a very popular, term trauma. Everybody got some trauma, obviously, right? But we should not be attached to that, because life will be lived one present moment after the other. And what happened in the past cannot be changed, right? So that's self-regulation. Then it's about, motivation and inspiration. How you motivate. Motivation is about external factors. Inspiration, means in your, soul. It is about empathy, right? Because you can understand yourself, but if you don't, show some empathy, then you will not understand the other people. And there are different types of the empathy. I'm not like broadly empathical, I must say, but I am deeply empathical. I need to know somebody for some time. And if I know that person, I'm deeply empathical. I'll do whatever, right? It's called relator in Strengths Finder from Gallup. It's called relator, the strengths. Federer was having this strengths, for example. And last but not least, it's about social skills. It's about how you communicate with the people, how you are able, to be in touch with the people, how you create, the trust with the people. Because the trust for me, it's about, you need to be authentic, number one. And number two, you need to be predictable. And it's sometimes hard, but this is it. That's what it takes. And you can build a trust with somebody for 10 years, and you will betray that person once, and that 10 years, is gone, basically. Trust is because this is the nature, because the first, priority for the brain is survival. And if you are losing trust, right, in somebody, or they're losing the trust in you, then it's a danger, for you to, quote, lose the life. And that's bad.
Yes. I mean, this is exactly right, because you're getting into the heart of, because we're animals, because our brain is going to look for threats first. Is this a friend or an enemy? You might have heard friend or foe. You have to be aware that when you are triggered as this is scary, when you use mental strength to override that, that's when good in the moment, but it's a short-term tool. When
Absolutely.
Jan said, hey, how do you live totally present so that you don't actually get triggered here? That's what he's talking about, so that the fear, the stress, the threat of it goes away. You don't feel threatened. You feel good. I'm safe here. I'm present here. Right now, I'm here. This is why we talk about the right way to use mental strength and the wrong way to use mental strength. If it's, I feel fear, but I'm going to do it anyway, good short-term tool, not a long-term strategy. You need other forms of mental strength, like presencing. I'm here now. I'm safe. Or you can go back to your emotions. Emotions are coming up. Good emotions, great, enjoy them. More difficult emotions, when your needs aren't being met. I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm frustrated, I'm disappointed, I feel betrayed. Then you need to work with them. It's not I'm fine or I'm just never going to talk to them again. That didn't go anywhere. That's still in you. And this, through working through the emotions, is where you're going to have a different form of mental strength, not the short term, not the present moment term, but the exact feeling of calm in your body that is a long-term feeling of not being threatened. When I go up to speak, when Jan goes up to speak, we do not feel like, oh my God, 10,000 people are watching us. We've gotten to a place where it feels safe for us. But it doesn't mean the first time we did it, we felt perfectly great. So it's getting yourself to feel safe. Now, what most people know to build safety is, I study it, I learn it in a book somewhere so I know how to get it right. Or I have a mentor or someone who tells me what to do so that I don't make a mistake, so I don't get it wrong. But that is a very insecure level of security, because the minute you come up against something you don't know, that's new, or that's ambiguous for the future, how to handle AI, you've lost what's going to give you a feeling of certainty. True core mental strength is about having a full trust in yourself that you can handle anything. And I mean anything. If an earthquake comes, I'll handle it. If my husband divorces me tomorrow, I'll handle it. I won't like it. I won't, feel good about it. But knowing I can handle anything will restore an inner strength within you, because then you can go up against anything. Because either I'll get something good, I'll win, or I'll learn. I can handle it. That's the core mental strength. And I'd love to share a few more tips on how to develop that, because of course all of you are going, sounds great, but how? But I would also love, if those of you who are live with us, if you have a real situation where you're feeling stuck with mental strength, where you feel like, I'm good at this, I can do it in sports, but I can't do it here, let us know so that we can do a little bit of live coaching as well for you, because we want to make it super relevant for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I've been talking too long. They want to hear your voice, Jan. They don't want to hear me.
Yeah. So I will use one very recent example, okay? Because in my view, what you can really only control is your, mind, and how your mind is behaving in the present moment, nothing else, right? And here is the story. I started in the middle of, December, I started to work with a new, tennis player, Jan Mühlfeit. He was, number 42 in the junior worldwide ranking. Okay. And the guy is tall, like 196. So he's a talented, guy. And he went for the first time to play Grand Slam, Australian Open. Okay. So I knew we've got like 6 weeks for preparation. I knew we need to be very intensive, but I told him, Jan, you are there for the first time. First of all, every ball, you enjoy the ball. You will play your best. You enjoy the ball and forget about the last ball. You enjoy the present ball. Okay. Whatever will happen, enjoy. And he is a smart guy. Then I said, then you enjoy every game. You enjoy every set. Okay. And then he won the first round. Okay. And I said, look, nobody was expecting you to win even the first round. That's a great result. So, okay. He won the second round. And suddenly he was among, top 16. All right. Last 16. I said, Jan, this is you overdid, all goals or whatever. Now you played for the fun. So we were in touch every day. I was coaching him after the, match. Guys, let's make, long story short. The guy went to the final of Australian Open. He lost on a very, small margin to the guy from Japan. He moved from 42 to 9th place in the world, in one tournament, because he got like 750 points. So, he did fantastic job. And the only, what he was doing, he was enjoying the present moment, because this is what you should do. Whatever you do, you should enjoy it. Enjoyment means whatever will happen in the past, I enjoy this ball, I enjoy, that ball, right? But, and you go like step by step in your life, because this is the way how you also control your emotions. Now, how emotions now I will build chemical, connection between your, mind and your body. Okay. Imagine what Lisa said. If you are getting to the stage, like your case, okay, and you are like excited, there are like, 2,000 people. I'm like excited. It will be, great, whatever. And you really love what you do. Chances are a lot of endorphin will be released, dopamine, then the social, if they will clap their hands, so it's like oxytocin and serotonin, all of those, social hormones. And you will feel fantastic after. It's like, drugs, right?
Yes. Yes.
Public speaking, if you like it, it's like, I didn't speak. I did some, online lessons, on my vacation, but I didn't speak like for almost 1 month now. So tomorrow I do some seminar.
Like,
yeah. Anyway, so, and that's great. Okay. So that's a good, situation. So you can, through your, thoughts, it's called priming. Through your thoughts, you can basically manage the hormones, and hormones are influencing your body and are also influencing your health. Now, if you go there, and you do something you don't like, you are fearful, a lot of cortisol is released, and it's not good for your body, and you are like afraid, and that performance will go to the toilet. So it's not. And now you can tell me, but Jan, public speaking is not for me. I can tell you guys, I've got some really, really deep introverts, okay? What I figure out, if introverts are speaking publicly about something they love, they stop to be introverts, because they are getting to the flow, endorphin is released, and they are not tired, anymore, and they are really excited as extroverts, right? So for the introverts, if you speak, you need to go step by step, obviously. But if you speak about something you really have emotion connection to, you will be fine. And I have the same. When I was coaching some actresses and actors, introverts, they were telling me the same thing. When I'm playing some role I love, I'm not tired at the end of the performance. And this is it,
Yes. And I will say the same thing goes for job interviews. Sometimes people will ask me, oh, how do I prep me to speak properly in an interview? And I pause back and I say, let's not coordinate the perfect answer. What do you love? Who are you? What are you passionate about? What do you want? And that immediately you get excited, you get passionate, you feel connected, and I'm like, okay, do that. Now put that into the question form. So in everyday life, always tap into what you love there. That's very important. We have a question in the chat.
Okay, Melike. It looks like a Turkish name, a Turkish surname. Melike, hello. Thank you for this amazing live. Feeling lucky to be here, listen to previous professionals. Thank you for the nice words, which my father would enjoy and my mother would even believe, My question is how to control over something we cannot control, handle negativity, the situation. It's interesting. I would say there is a great podcast, Control the Controllable, right? That's a great question, by the way. Okay.
Yes, so important.
Let's go back to the old, times, old Greece, when they were basically saying that we should concentrate on the Stoics, in fact, right? Stoicism is based on that idea. that you should take care of the things you can really influence. I'll explain. If you play tennis, okay, you should not care about your opponent or empire, because it's about ball, it's about net, and it's about the court. This is it. This is it. That's what you can influence by your brain, by your body, breath, or whatever. You cannot influence how the other your opponent is playing. That's what I'm telling my tennis players. Concentrate. Your opponent is a ball. It's interesting because in golf, people don't think that my opponent is another human being. They think it's a golf course, basically, right? The opponent. So
Yes.
the Melika, the question is how to reframe basically the issue, right? Because very often, I'll give you one example. Situations in our lives don't have a meaning unless we will put some words explaining those situations, like a stickers on those situations. Listen, that's from the American Navy. If they will say, if they'll tell soldiers this is a dangerous situation, performance goes down because a lot of cortisol is released. They are fearful because danger means fear. If they would say it is challenge, you may say challenge, danger is the same. No, it's not. It's not. It's a challenge. Then obviously the performance goes up. Now, there's a study about, they call it, chatter, which is like our internal dialogue, very often influenced by negativity, negative emotions, and so on. What they figure out, if you will, in that chatter, in your, internal dialogue, if you use like first person, I must, I need, I feel, and so on, and if you are nervous, your nervosity goes up even 60%. If you would use the second or the third person, which means you should do that, or Jan is doing that, or Jan should do that, your, the nervosity goes 70% down. Lisa mentioned the job interview. So they basically did this research, preparing some people for the job interview. They said you should prepare in the first person and the other groups in the second or the third person. And now, to connect it, what Lisa said a couple of minutes ago. Lisa said that, you should take that situation really a little bit like helicopter, view, like, from the distance. Because our emotional part of the brain, amygdala, is doing, you are in the hole and amygdala is digging the hole, because amygdala is digging the hole. Okay, what is even worse? So you should stop, to dig, basically. This is it, right? And start to think, because you need to, if you want to reframe those situations, you need to imagine you have your neocortex, which is like professor, very slow but very smart. Amygdala, not stupid, I would say, but not very smart. Doesn't distinguish whether it's true or not. Amygdala only, priority is survival, basically. But amygdala is 10 times faster. It's like, small monkey jumping from one issue to the other. And so you need to give your professor some, time, right? It's called freedom of choice, right? So that you can look at those things from the different angle. So it's called, reframing. Because really, I can look at the situation. It is dangerous. My opponent in the tennis will be very dangerous. Or I can say, well, it is a challenge, but I go and, I do it. So it really, the words are creating, even like, your, character today depends very much what kind of words were used in your family.
Yes.
I can tell you, I mean, in my family, I was, my upbringing was like fixed mindset. You need to have the best rating, be number one in everything, because my mother was a teacher. She was great and we love her, but she was, like that, right? But then in tennis, I learned that sometimes you are losing, sometimes you are, winning, right? But what I started to do when I was like 25, 30 years ago, I started always to think like globally. If I will do some business, I will do globally. I mean, at that time, I did not work yet for any international company. but I was still doing my notes in English because I was saying, hey, this is it, because that's, you know what I mean? And you are setting up your mindset in that, you know, way. And then obviously I've got global roles. I mean, many global roles in my career, right? But this is it. So it is really the kind of the words we need to be careful what kind of the words you are saying and what kind of the words you are saying about you. Like, I will not manage, I will not be able to do it. I will never say I will never be able to do it. There are many things I will not be able to do it, but I need to try first. And this is it, you know. Right?
Exactly. So I feel like there are 100 things I want to add to what you just said, Jan. You got me so excited with everything you shared. But I will take this question as well that Benica said and give a similar answer, but slightly different perspective. So, you know, what Jan and I are both sort of saying is when you focus on an outcome, that's out of your control. Do they like me? Did I get the sale? Did I, you know, win the gold medal? Whatever it is, you can't control it. So Jan said, be in the moment, enjoy, have fun with the ball. I call that focus on the process. In the business context, right? Amazon can't decide what's going to sell the most, but what they can do is say, let's test if the picture's this big. Does it work or not? How about the description? What size font? Let's try this. Let's try that. And each time you could say, hey, that failed. Or you could say, okay, that didn't work. I was just testing. Okay, now I figure out, okay, now I'm getting a little better. So now the process is getting cleaner. The way that we're going to display our product page is getting so much smoother that guess what happens? The result is very likely.
Absolutely.
So when we focus more on getting the process right, the outcomes come. If you try to squeeze and make the outcomes come, what you end up doing, as Jan so nicely put in this bell curve we had earlier, you get yourself past the good performance and you get into nervousness. Is it, am I, what happens if I don't? Oh my God, well, nah. Get out of that spiral. Friends, this is when we think, oh, emotions are so bad because we spiral in them.
Oh yeah.
We take one emotion and we tie it to the past and the future. We tie it to, oh, but that always happens and he always yells and I'm never good enough and she's always smarter than I am. And we just make it a much bigger deal. Instead, stay focused. I don't know, like I can't, you know, the situation is not turning out how I want. I was late to a client site today because traffic wasn't great, right? Can I do anything about it? Should I sit there stressed and going, oh my God, what am I going to do? And this is horrible. It's out of my control. So I took a breath, enjoyed my podcast and said, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. And that's what it is, right? But because I'm focused on fixing the process for the next time, I'm like, okay, so I can check that, you know, I checked how long it would be, but I didn't check the timing for that route with morning traffic. I can fix it for next time. So no problem. I let it go. I take that as a great learning for my process to make sure that I'm most likely to keep winning. I keep getting better and better outcomes. People often ask, like, Lisa, why are you successful? It's very hard to be successful as a coach. Like, how come you got to be? And I say, because I just kept going. I didn't let failed outcomes define me. I let them make my process better and better. And then what you see on the outside is, oh, why are some people always winning? Or why are some people very confident? I'm confident because I know win or lose, something's going to come from it. And that I'll move forward. And that'll be that. That's that inner mental strength that I was talking about before, that knowledge, that deep trust in myself. If something goes wrong, I'll handle it. And if it goes well, I'll congratulate myself. Job well done on getting the process right. But put your focus on the learning. Put your focus on the process. Set your expectations for how do I get that, what's in my control, right. And then, yes, you have to just let go when you can't get the things exactly the way you wanted it. The very easy trick that I use is that I keep an abundance mindset. What does that mean? I really want to work with a certain client. In the end, the negotiation doesn't work out. They don't hire me. But I'm not going to beat myself up and say I'm a failure and too bad. What I'm going to say is, If it's meant to be, they'll come back another time. And if not, there's lots of other people who need to be coached. So for any one opportunity which closes, another will open. Trust that. And that's where true strength will come in, that you can handle anything.
Absolutely. So, well, thanks, Jan and Lisa. Greetings from Turkey. Always learning new things for me. Perfect. Melike, yeah. I love Turkey. I was very often, there on nice, vacations there, by the seaside. And in Istanbul, these 5 times, So, yeah, a little bit chemistry again, right? What Lisa said. If you are, concentrating on the outcomes, chances are that very soon you will develop so-called fixed mindset, which means like, if everything goes well, I feel, oh, I'm the master of the world, everything is fine. But if it's not, you are like giving up. So it's like, I'm the big guy or I'm the loser, right? And what is happening relative to dopamine? Dopamine is very important hormone for your motivation and for your energy, because dopamine is giving you energy to continue and motivating, for the future. In fact, dopamine is like praising you because it's a reward hormone, right? Dopamine is doing such peaks. Whenever, for example, football player would score, dopamine would go like that, down, up and down to the baseline, which is good if you are successful. One, there is a failure, your baseline goes down. That's the reason why people are giving up. If you concentrate on the process, there are no peaks, but your baseline goes, up because you are winning or learning. What, Nelson Mandela was saying, I'm winning, I'm successful, I'm learning something new. And this is it, right? Because not all, like if you take, tennis, and I don't know if there are some tennis players, if you take tennis is definitely sport of the losers. Not that, those people do not have, I love them, right? But think about it. You have like, if it's normal tournament, it's like 64 or 32 players, whatever. Grand Slams, 128. Out of the 128, there's only one winner. Okay. There are no like silver or bronze medals. There are at the Olympic Games, but normally the tournaments are not, right?
Yeah.
So you need to have your mindset. Maybe I'm winning like out of the 40 tournaments I'm playing a year, I'm maybe winning 5 or 10, whatever, still great, right? But this is it. So you need to have really this, growth mindset and concentrate on the process, because there is no way. Look, the other advice, okay, people are asking me, what are you doing? Because I have like 130,000 people following me on different social media. Okay. What are you doing? I'm giving them some, interesting content to share, and I'm learning from the others. There is like 60% of the total bizarre on Instagram, or, you should avoid it. And it is your time. They are getting your time for free, and they are selling their time. It's absolutely, number one, it's stupid. Then it's about FOMO, fear of missing out. If I will not follow this guy, look, in the past, if somebody was stupid, only really like narrow circle would know that in the village or in the town. Today, stupidity is a global thing thanks to the social network. Everybody knows that you are stupid, and they are selling stupidity. All right. So don't buy it, guys.
Yeah, I love that. You talk about the chemistry, right? We get the dopamine hits when we're doing some stupid stuff.
If you are getting older, you're jumping from one thing to the other. No, but
Yes.
it's your choice. How you will spend your time is like, jewel, right? So spend it properly.
Exactly. And most of the time people are wasting energy because they are emotionally overwhelmed. This is hard. This is scary. I don't know what to do. And they want to numb their emotions. That's why I say when you want mental strength, you go to the emotions, you dive into the emotions, because once you face them and clear them, you don't have to go avoiding it by doing your social media. Everybody knows if you're escaping with drugs and alcohol and social media and other playing video games and their addictions, that's not the path to mental strength. But that's because the emotions are getting in the way. When your emotional intelligence is strong, you show up, you face your emotions. That's where that inner strength to rise up will come from.
This is interesting, Iri Padrian. Agree. Never say words like "I can't do it." If you say "How can I do it?" it's a game changer. It is. you are moving from, fixed mindset. This is very good example. You are moving from the fixed mindset to the growth mindset. How can I do it? It doesn't mean that you will do it, but you will be closer. Give you one example. In the book Mindset, Carol Dweck, she is like, professor at Stanford. She is a very smart, person. She speaks about some schools in the United States, some universities, which are not having F, like a fail, because fail means I'm failure, I'm fuck up, basically, right? And they have a rating not yet, which means, there is some progress, but I'm not yet ready. Come on,
Yes.
right? Yeah, right.
And what Jerry points out here, words create your worlds. They create what's possible within your mind. So when you say, I can't, that becomes true. It's not an absolute truth. It becomes true to you. When you say, how can I, you open up possibility. So many of us shut down, you let fear stop us. I actually say reverse how your brain is going to naturally work. So for example, we have something called confirmation bias in our brains. So if you think, oh, I'm stupid and nobody likes me, then 3 people can like you and you see one person who doesn't, you say, you see, because you're confirming the bias that you believe in. What I tell people is believe you're amazing, you're capable, you're powerful, and let confirmation bias filter to the positive. Let you see, yes, I can do that. I'll give you a very silly example, but my last name is Christen. My family and I, we always joke that everywhere we go, we find a really good parking spot. I don't know why, it can be super busy, but the Christens always find parking. So it's very silly, very easy. But every time we show up and it looks crowded, nobody's like, oh, where are we going to park? Oh, this is stressful. We're just like, relax. The Christians always find parking. And I want you to keep that in mind, because that's how you should show up to everything in life. I'll be able to, get a promotion. If not here, then at another company. If not this project, then the next project. Show up confirming, I'm great, I'm fully capable, I'm absolutely ready to take on whatever's in front of me. So you should work with the mechanics of your brain. Don't let the fear part take it over. You have also other parts of your head that you can use that help you to get the right emotions in the body and use it to your advantage. This is where strength comes in.
Absolutely, Andy. The words you are using and the self-talk, the internal dialogue, I feel it's more and more important. And it's more and more important to have this, like a helicopter view. Look, if, for example, you have some, deal which you learn that day, it's not gonna to happen, right? So you feel really bad. So what you can do, put that, take a paper and put it in the center of that paper, put that deal, and put, around that everything what you achieve, that year or, together, whatever. And you will see, I'm calling it helicopter view, because sometimes it's like you need to go from that negative zoom in to the positive zoom out. Because there are, new chances. Like there's a lot of, I know that, and now I will say something which I should not, but I will say it anyway. So, like romantic relationships, if there is a, like breakup, okay. I know it's when I was, 17, it's really tough. But then if you realize it's not the end of the world, right? You remember for sure when there was a first, breakup, that it was hard to survive. And it's always like that. There's a, business breakup. There's a breakup in the sport between the coach and the athlete. There are so many other, opportunities. And if you really, concentrate on what you still can do. I was having my guest once at my, radio show was a lady. She was she won European championship on the mountain bikes. Okay. And she got, injured somewhere in Portugal, and she was disabled basically. But she told me one thing. When I was, in the emergency service, I was not thinking about what I would not be able to do. I was thinking what I will still be able to do in spite of the fact I'll be a wheelchair person, right? So she's like skiing, what an amazing person, amazing inspiration for me. The same, I'm coaching, Andrej Meškal, and he is the guy who won, he is a world champion in triathlon. He's a blind guy since like 8 years, and he's doing, triathlon. He was running, half marathon, still like 8 minutes better than me. Obviously, he's like 25 years younger than me, but still, he's a blind, he's still better than me. So it is a huge source of inspiration, those people. And it's really about, the mindset. Yeah.
But this is exactly right. This is another thing. How do I build trust in myself? Sometimes we build this chatter in our head. I can't. Zoom out and just think humans are resilient. Humans. We've put a person on the moon. We're thinking about sending people to Mars. We can, be competing when we're still in a wheelchair. We can survive wars and come out strong. Read Anne Frank's diary. Whatever you need. Just remember, humans can survive a hell of a lot. And guess what? You're a human. So even if it feels like, oh my God, I can't, it's like, of course you can. Humanity has suffered more. Others have suffered more, and they've come out, and you can too. This is, once again, over and over, I'm going to keep repeating. If you build an inner trust within yourself, I can handle this. I can do this. I can survive if things go bad. I believe good things will happen. Then the mental strength will come in. Not because you're fighting it. It's not a just do it. Oh my God, I need to override my fear. You're actually getting rid of the fear. And that sustainable mental strength comes out. And there you are. Strong.
A lot of people are suspicious of the positive, thinking, right? Positive thinking, unless you will do like positive doing, positive thinking will not, help. Positive thinking is good. We are talking about things like positive psychology, which is like looking at things, positively on you, by working like that and thinking like that. Really, there's always, chance. There are not that many situations in your life which are not able to be solved, right? Let's put it this way. When my guy lost the final, he was still quite happy. He was quite happy. But I said, Jan, look, you are 17. I'm 62. The doctors are saying that my body is for 43, right? I said, you will play if you play like Federer, another 25 years. So we will, do many Grand Slams. Don't worry. So, and this is it. Yeah, right. I mean, look, the guy went there as, I wouldn't say nobody, but like as a, average player. And he went out of the tournament, one of the best in the world. But still, there is a lot of things, you need to learn. But it is about, mindset. And I was amazed. While he is 17 years old, it never happened to me with such a young athlete in such short time to achieve that high.
Yes, but always trust. Life is an infinite game. Even if he gets hurt and he can never play tennis again, then he'll get good at something else. There's always chances. There are always opportunities. Trust that there is forever something out there. We've got another question.
Okay.
If you want to bring that up.
Here we go. Yeah. And now you can read it.
All right. I'm a very good reader, in fact. If you'd agree healing and getting stronger in the mind is not linear, what are some things we can do to keep ourselves motivated in this process of changing the way that we think?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'll jump in with the first one, which is that Jan already gave you a hint. You have to celebrate the wins regularly. You have to be proud. I showed up at my best. I gave my all. I'm learning. Yes, this didn't go as planned. Yes, of course, I make mistakes. That's normal, right? Forgive yourself immediately for it. And then just keep showing up to see the positives. I give people homework assignments like, give yourself a compliment. Do you know how many people cannot give themselves one single compliment? The chatter in their head has only ever been, here's what's wrong, here's what's bad, give myself a compliment. Yes, get into the practice of recognizing and appreciating yourself every day. At the end of every day, what did I do well? What am I proud of that I showed up for. Not a not a recognition of a result you got, but an appreciation of how you showed up, your character, who you were being, what courage you had. And that will continue that cycle of dopamine, feeling good, having positive voices in your body. The more positivity you have, the more you believe in yourself, the less the downs will be able to get you off track. Yes, that's fine. You can go down, but you can dip right back up.
Okay. I will have some additional, advice.
Yeah.
Number one, our brain is always jumping on the, last negative experience. So you should remember yourself all the time what, you achieve. Or I'll tell you, I have a couple of good goalkeepers, both in ice hockey and football. Okay. And all of them, they've got like 5-10 minutes, video, the best, best games they played. Simply, right? And they remind themselves before another match, those kind of things. So you feel good. That's number one. Number two, it's kind of the everyday tactical things. You should remind yourself for the day what was going well. You should repair what was not going well. If it was not going well, how can I do it next time differently? And you should imagine how you will do it in the future. And number three, it's about learning from the best people. Today, you have unprecedented chance from YouTube to, learn from the best people in the world. I have, best podcasts, best people. If I wanted to learn, like, look, I tell you what, I'm the guy who was living for 20 years in the village with 800, inhabitants. Okay. I was almost 5 from the university, and my first job, I was a receptionist. And then I was working for 10 years with Bill Gates, and I was a chairman for Europe for 8 years, for Microsoft, for such large company. It is about your mindset, but also the people around you. And today you can have those, virtual people who can inspire you, and you can learn from them. And suddenly, because I explain you how it works. Okay. We have mirror neurons. You are mirroring your, environment, right? So if you are surrounded by those people, even only online, by those, great people, like what is his name? He was doing recently the live sessions.
That I don't know. I thought you were going to say Andrew Huberman, but
Tony, no. Andrew Huberman is Tony, not Tony Buzan, Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins was like free of charge. You can still get it on YouTube. Fantastic, content. Okay. And a lot of, other people. So you are mirroring, the surroundings, your environment. Plus, you will suddenly see, hey, they are not, they are just ordinary people. They have a great content, but I can do that, right? And this is it, right? You will see, because majority of the people, when they were meeting with Bill Gates, oh, this is Bill Gates, he's the richest person in the world. That's fine. Who cares, right? I was like, for me, it was always conversation of the equals. And and most importantly, I was thinking as a conversation of the equals, because he knew a lot about like products and so on. But I think I knew more about emerging markets and what, Microsoft should do in emerging markets and stuff like that. So it was a great conversation always, right? So, yeah, those are a couple of tips and tricks what you can do every day.
Yes. What you just did about building the trust in yourself, I bring value to the table. Maybe not the same value as he does, but we should have complementary things that we bring. Always believe in yourself. I bring something to this conversation, to this interview, to this speech, that I bring value. The last thing I want to say, but as we run out of time, is so many people get stuck in their spiral of I should. Oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have. Oh, I feel guilty that I didn't do this. Please remove the word should from your vocabulary. This is wasting a lot of time and energy in your body without actually getting you anywhere. What I would say is decide, I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it.
Absolutely.
I like to call it commit or quit. Don't waste the energy spinning. Oh, I feel bad. Oh, I should have eaten broccoli. Oh, I should have. Either you're going to work out or you're not. And not is an okay answer. Don't feel bad when you choose it. Live with the choice. But please don't live stuck, spiraling in your emotions. Use your emotions instead to give you new information for how to move forward. And always stay with a core trust in you, because that's the mental strength that will sustain you. Not the short term, okay, just do it, I'll just Stay present, stay focused, trust, and you can do anything.
Because what you said, a lot of people believe that there is kind of the half-pregnant success model, right? Which is like something, and it's not. You know, you are or you are.
Either are, you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, guys, it's 9:01. So,
what a lovely ending note.
I think it's a good to wrap up. You know. So thanks very much, and see you in 2 weeks. Absolutely.
Take care. Bye.